There we go.
Okay. You ready?
I think so.
All right. I'm going to give you a little introduction here.
Sure.
Okay. So, hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bear Experiment podcast. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo, and today's conversation is raw, powerful, deeply moving. My guest, Deanna, is a fighter, a woman who has faced unimaginable challenges, including a life changing HIV diagnosis, and yet stands here stronger, wiser, and more connected to her spirit than ever before. She calls herself a country redneck witch. I love that. And her story is not just about survival, it's about finding faith, embracing self love, and defying the stigma that too often surrounds HIV. Together, we'll explore how this diagnosis transformed her life, her spirituality, and her perspective on health, strength, and resilience. This is an episode about courage, healing, and the power of the human spirit. So let's dive in. So thank you so much, Deanna. How do I pronounce your name?
Deanna.
Deanna.
Yes, you had it
Okay.
right, Deanna.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. So you're nice and energized if you're coming back from the gym.
Well, I'm hot and tired at this point, but yes, I am. My Sunday workout is done, so
Yeah.
I'm happy.
God bless your heart. I'm trying to get into that to where I work out again and again. I like to work out outdoors, but I can't do it. It's too
No,
hot. Can't do
no,
it.
no, I can't do anything. I love to trail walk, and it's just too hot to do that. It's too
Mm-hmm.
hot. So, but
Yeah.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, I love your story. You came on my feed on TikTok and I just started like, stalking your entire page at that point. I love how authentic and real you are. It's a stigma. At the end of the day, it's not a death sentence like it was in the
No,
80s, thank God,
yes,
right?
yes, amen.
Yeah, but there's still a stigma associated with it, you know?
Oh yeah,
Just like saying you have herpes. You have herpes, there's a stigma. You're not going
it
to
is what it is.
die. It is what
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it sucks. You got to take up medication for the rest of your life, but you're
yep,
not going to die. And that's the way that you
yeah,
got to look at it. So let's dive back in a little bit then and
sure,
talk a little bit about your personal life. And I bring this up because you share this in
oh
your
sure,
information, okay? But
yeah,
you are divorced, you were married, your ex-husband was a former addict.
yep,
And yeah, that caused a lot of tension and marital
yeah,
issues as that would,
mhm,
understandably. But you also felt very alone and isolated as a result of his addiction,
yes,
and you were looking for love, right? And
yeah,
attention.
yeah,
And we've all been there, right? We've all been
yeah,
there. So your story starts off that you are a very healthy uh bodybuilder. You work out all the time. You've been doing this for years, very
mhm,
healthy lifestyle, never done drugs, don't do drugs, you work out,
right,
you look great. And this is a friend that you've known for many, many years that you decided to hook up with from the gym.
yes,
So clearly there was no visible symptoms that he would ever
no,
have, right? Where you would be like, there's something off
no,
about this guy, his color,
no,
he's got,
no, no.
nothing at all.
Yeah. So so yes, that is exactly what happened. It was 2000 and a little bit about me. So I am just turned 53 years old. I have an MBA. I have two adult kids. One is a nurse practitioner, um, actually in Las Vegas now, and my other just graduated from University of Florida with his BA in psychology and is getting started in the good old career world of counseling and where he likes to help others as well. So I was married to their dad. I was with their dad for 22 years. We had a not so good divorce, and then I met my second husband in 2013, married him, and he was not an addict. He's a very good man, very, very hard worker, good dad, like I say, a good person. And he um, he had some demons. He had trauma that he was dealing with as well, and he's an addict. And he started using meth. And in 2016 and 17, it came to I realized it. I didn't know it before then.
You didn't
Well,
notice that he was
I didn't know.
that he was
Oh
doing
no,
math?
no, no. He is real high energy. Um, and again, I had no clue. I would never have. expected him to do it. He has a great life, but he had a great life. Very, very good. He's a journeyman lineman, and so very active, very busy, but he was very high strung. Now, did I notice his personality changing? Yes, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was. I really didn't know. So then, when I found out what was going on, I tried to save him, tried to help him, tried to encourage him to get help. He kept telling me he would, never did. So then eventually in 2017, he left. 2018, we got a divorce. And in that time, like I say, I love him to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But um, he was coming back and forth between me and this other person he was seeing. And so he had left. He hurt my feelings. Um, I was at the gym. There was, like I say, it was somebody I knew, had known the
Right. So
family.
so there's that comfort
Okay,
zone already there.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, like I say, I never suspected. Nobody, nobody knew. Nobody. I don't think anybody still knows about him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, we got extra friendly. Um, I was with him twice, and within about 6 weeks of each other, we hooked up. And after the second time, 2 weeks later, I got really sick. And really sick by meaning it was like a flu. It was like a summer flu, and it was during the
Right.
summer. It was exactly this time of the year. And I had a fever, really tired, um, some chill sweats. But then I noticed a rash that came up, and it wasn't like itchy. It wasn't any sores. It wasn't anything like that. It was raised red spots. A couple on my face, but mostly on my torso. And at first, and I started getting a sore throat. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought I may have been getting strep throat because when my kids were small, they would get that similar rash, and I was like, well, maybe that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a doctor, local doctor. He misdiagnosed. He didn't even look at me. Gave me a Z-Pack and sent me on my way. A nurse friend that I had, I still say that she helped save my life, but she told me to go get a second opinion, and mainly because the antibiotics that I was put on would not help if I had a sore throat or strep throat, because my throat was getting much worse, and I was not getting any better.
So how long at this point are you sick for?
Right about a week and a half. So a
Okay.
week and a half, and I didn't get sick.
And,
Like
and right. And
I'm
you're
very healthy. I
and
don't get sick. So that's why I knew. I was like, something is wrong. When the rash came up, I'm like, something's wrong with me. So then, and I mean, a fatigue that COVID didn't. I mean, I've had COVID. I've had flus. I've had that kind of thing. And being pregnant, nothing came close
really.
to the level of fatigue that I had.
Okay, that puts it into
Um,
perspective for me. Like
yes, yes.
pregnancy, right?
I mean, with my youngest child, I had fatigue. Like I didn't think I was going to be able to move.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, it was so hard to just keep going. So anyway, I went for my second opinion. She was a very young nurse practitioner, new in the practice, and she immediately went to running tests. And the last thing she said, she came back in. She's like, I want to run an HIV test just to rule that out.
Yeah.
And I shrugged it off. I was like, okay. I said, well, that's okay. I said, I just had one 3 months prior because I always get one with my annual exam. And I said, I just had one. I was good, but okay. She's like, you don't have to do it. I said, no. And I knew because, my ex had been all over the place and was going
Right.
and did not know what he was up to. I knew he was in bad shape with his addiction. And I was like, and again, I had been with a couple. Um, so I was like, I better check. I better get checked.
Yeah, better safe than sorry,
So
right?
did not think another thing about it. She gave me some antibiotics. She took a mono test, she took another strep test, and she took an HIV test. Um, didn't think another thing about it. She gave me some antibiotics. I started taking them. I started feeling better. I mean, my symptoms were getting better. Throat was still horrible. That was one of the worst things. But I was getting better. Didn't think anything about it. And she called me in about 5 days. I would say it was about 5 days. And she said, I need you to come in and take another test. She's like, she's like, it could be a false positive. It could be inconclusive. I was like, I thought she was talking about strep test. I
Mhm.
was having
You're not,
no,
yeah, your mind is not even
it did
going
not, I was
there.
like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then she said, you had a positive HIV test. And when she said that, I was like, oh. And then I mean, like it hit me. I was like, oh, that's what's wrong with me. So,
Like, did you intuitively
yep,
confirm that to yourself at that very
I knew it.
moment, even though
I
you don't
knew
want to believe
immediately.
it?
Yep, I knew immediately. I was like, yep, of course, this is what I have. So I told her, I was like, I'll be right there. I worked, um, I worked for the Department of Corrections in the Inspector General's office at that time. So I told my boss, and he knew I'd been sick. I had not missed a day of work, but I was like, I said, look, I've got to go take a follow up test and see what's going on. So he's like, okay. So I go, come back, and as soon as I got back, I called my again, I never got sick. So my only doctor was my OBGYN that I'd had since 1996, I think. And I called him his personal phone and I texted him and I said, "What are the chances of a false positive HIV test?" Before I could set my phone down, he called me
Oh,
and he said, "What's going on?" So I told him and he didn't say anything. He said, "God bless you." And when he said that, I knew that he knew. Um, so,
but there has to be circumstances where there could be
well,
an error in a
his
test.
his son, his stepson was an HIV specialist actually in South
Oh,
Florida. So, and my doc is a researcher. So he knew with all the symptoms I told him.
oh, right. Because now you're telling him everything you're feeling. Okay, now that makes
I told
sense.
him all my symptoms. I told him everything and he knew. He knew it's exactly what I had the acute onset. So I told him, he said, as soon as you find out, he said, I will do some research on local providers around here that, if it's confirmed that that's, to get you started. So I let it go. I told one friend of mine, um, and I couldn't say the words. I couldn't say the letters. I couldn't say it. I just said, I am sick from this person. And she knew the person. I said, I'm sick. And I said, I'm waiting to find out exactly how bad it is.
Hmm.
So
Now,
um,
how old are you?
I was 46.
You were 46 at this
Yep,
stage.
I was
Okay.
46.
Hmm.
Just turned 46. I was infected at 45 and I turned 46 in the meantime.
And do
In
you
the,
think, and do you think, based on looking at it from, retrospectively, that it was the second time that you got infected?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But you
Um,
were not using protection
no, I did not.
either one.
And that is, no, I did not ask for protection. I will say that I can say in hindsight, well, I knew then that there was something in him, and I don't want to speak negatively of him, but I knew that second time I was not going to see him again.
Hmm.
Um, it 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 was something that I endured, and I knew there was something that clicked in his mind, and it was not necessarily a pleasant encounter. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So I knew when it was done, I got up and I left,
Right.
and I
Right.
did not want to go back ever.
Mhm.
Um, and I can't say it was in malice, but I will say it was not anything I wanted to experience again.
Mhm.
Um, so again, I knew I was done with that. There was no, and it required recovery. I ain't gonna lie, it did.
Yeah.
Um, so I knew I didn't want to any more of that. But that's how I knew it was the second time. However, however, because so so on the within a few days, by August 13th, the results were in. My nurse practitioner called me to come in and get the results. I already knew. I knew. So I went in. She told me it was confirmed. She told me she was sorry. And I I told her I was going through so much trauma at that time, trauma
Mhm.
and drama all at the same time, that
Yeah.
it was just like, let's deal with this. And I said, I'm not gonna be beat down by this. I said, I've got this shit in me. I need to get it out. So sorry about the language, but that's exactly what I
No,
told her.
no, be
I
yourself.
said, I said, I have to kill this. I said, I have to beat it now. And so at that time, I said, I need to send a text. I texted my doctor, told him. So immediately it was underway of getting set up with treatment. That night, I after that I sent a text to my kid's dad and both my boys, and I told them that we needed a family meeting, that I had to talk to them. My kid's dad and I were not on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
We were civil, but we didn't have family talks.
Gotcha.
So he thought I had cancer.
Right.
That's what
Yeah,
he
it's
thought.
bad. We're getting some bad news
He
for you.
knew.
Yeah.
He knew something was wrong, and he thought I had cancer. My oldest son does wants to avoid, and the reason why I included my ex was because he was very close, is very close with our oldest son, and I knew I needed him to help my oldest son handle it.
No, and
'Cause I,
maybe, right, maybe also, he may feel uncomfortable, one of your children speaking with you directly
yeah,
because, right? And
yeah.
then they'll go to the dad. So that definitely a
So,
smart move. Yeah.
so when my oldest son didn't was scared. He was scared. He didn't want to deal with it. So my ex asked me, their dad asked me what was going on, and I told him. And his response was, "You don't deserve this. Of all people, you don't deserve this." And that was like the most like probably powerful thing that was said to me by anybody, because again, he and I were not on good terms.
Right. You
And
weren't, yeah.
for him to have any compassion whatsoever,
Yeah.
um, that was that was a lot for me, because I was like, at that point, I was like, I'm going to be fine. And then when he said that, it just threw me off. That caught me off guard. But I was like, I'll be fine. And so then I did tell um, the one who infected me and one other that I had been with in that window of time. Because again, we had been split up for a while, so
Mm,
I was seeing people. Um, but I did not tell my ex husband, the addict, and I hate calling him the addict, but that husband, I did not tell him, because he would go in meth rages, and I did not.
want to put him in that position.
I didn't want to deal with that on top of everything else. I didn't want to
Yeah,
deal with that.
it's understandable.
So I asked the health department. That's who does that, who handles it, is the health department. So I asked them to tell. But so anyway, but I did tell the ones that I had been with. Well, the one who infected me
Yeah.
asked me, immediately told me he would not be mad if he had it. That was his immediate reaction. That was the first thing that came out of his mouth. If I have it, I won't be mad. Well, okay, I would hope not, because clearly I'm just finding out about this. So then he set it up for me to believe that it was my ex husband that gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me not to report his name to the health department, to the case managers, as is required. And I didn't really understand that at first. I thought he had a very elaborate story as to why not to do that, and that he would handle it, not to worry about it. He would handle it. He would get tested, all that, and he would report back to me if there was anything to worry that he had, been infected. So and again, I was also thinking it could be my ex-husband because of his lifestyle
The
he was living at
drugs.
that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Was he
So
was he shooting up intravenously when he was doing meth or smoking it?
smoking it, but he was at a point that I wasn't so sure he wouldn't. And again, the
Well,
one
the
he
the
was,
the choices that you're making, right? You're having
yes,
sex. Exactly.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
he was living on the edge pretty much. So, and then the other guy was immediately like in shock. He was genuinely in shock and scared to death, like absolutely scared to death. So that was a natural reaction. So I knew he
Yeah.
really, I was like, and again, and I told him, I was like, hey, listen, you're out there going out there and doing lots of things. You should be being tested, like I'm being tested regardless. So
Right.
you should do that. It's just a practice you should do. But anyway, so his came back, he was clean. He was good. Um, The other one never reported. The one who infected me did not report back anything, but he kept wanting me to come see him. Like he really was pressuring me to come see him again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I absolutely refrained. I said, I don't have any interest. And I didn't at all. No interest. But, and then my ex-husband, I eventually told him because he wouldn't answer the phone from the health department. So I told him. And when I told him, he at first he wanted us to get back together. And again, I couldn't because he was just things that he was doing was just it was bad. It was just toxic. It was very toxic. And I was like, we can't do it. I've got to get through this. If you need me to go with you to get tested to do whatever, I'll go. I'll go. I know the way. He didn't. He ended up going through a rage pretty much. He did go get tested. He was clean. I didn't want to believe it. Um,
Amazing.
but he was clean. And um, then he posted on Facebook that I had it.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes, I had told my mom and my dad, and my brother and my sister, but nobody else knew. And he told all of our small community that I had it.
Terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Speaks volumes of him too, you know?
that was something to deal with.
Yeah.
But at that point, it was I knew there was, like nothing to be ashamed of. I had, there was such like the stigma was so much. And I did not realize what it was until I had it.
So
And
how
the
soon
one,
from the moment that you get your diagnosis, that he throws your business out on Facebook? How long?
August 13th, I was diagnosed. Within a week, he had put it on Facebook.
Oh, a
Within a
week.
week.
So you didn't even
Within a
have a
week.
chance to process this.
None,
Yeah.
none at all. None at all. I had my niece calling me. She saw it. And I didn't even know it was out there. She's like, Aunt D, are you okay?
Oh my
So
God.
yeah. So that was a lot. But at that point forward was when I said, you know what? I won't allow anybody to have ammunition against me. I will go ahead and tell my story.
Yeah.
I will tell it like it is. And I won't tell who infected me. Not that I mean there is protection laws against, saying who has it. But I mean, I take responsibility because I did not ask him to wear
Right.
protection.
You made the
I did not.
decision.
I mean, how many people have you? Well, and maybe this is just me that I have too much trust or had too much
A
trust in
hundred
people
percent. Yeah.
that
That you're
you
like,
get
it's a
with somebody
friend.
and you
I've known him
you don't go
forever.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go through the, oh, do you have any diseases that I'm going to catch?
Right. Right.
I mean, you just assume that somebody has the same decency that you do, that if there is something that can be transmitted, they're going to at least tell you,
They're gonna share
or
it with you.
if nothing else, cover up so you can't pass it. So, or there's at least a chance of not passing it, but that's not how it went. And, but I try to, it was not easy. There are times it's still not easy because I will see people flinch when I tell them.
Yeah.
Um, and it's still one of those, it hurts because you go, you didn't know this 5 minutes
This
ago.
doesn't make me any
It
different of a
doesn't make me
person.
any different of a person. I'm just
Right.
telling you I have a diagnosis.
Right.
Um, and I'm just making it aware, and I'm just not ashamed of it. I've had people say to me, well, why do you tell people that um you're positive? Why do you tell people that? I'm like, or let them get to know you first. Why? Why would I do that? Why would I let somebody get close to me to then tell them, hey, by the way, I'm HIV positive, and them have a reaction of, I don't want anything to do with you. That's a rejection that I don't want to deal with. So
Right.
I would much rather be
Right in the beginning. Let me throw it out there.
upfront about it. Like, look, this is who I am. This is what I have. I will educate you. You make a decision then. And
Do
if
you
you're
do
not ready,
do you feel that from the moment that you received your diagnosis at 47 to where you are today, and you know what your dating lifestyle, that when you do bring it up, that it's become a little more accepted or normalized if you do say, hey, I'm HIV positive, I'm taking medication, I'm undetectable with this medication, and I am unable to infect you, that people are more accepting of being with somebody in a relationship and having unprotected sex?
people are, I think it depends on the education level of people. I mean, I am from a very small
Yeah,
rural area, very rural, very, very backwoods thinking,
closed-minded, right?
closed-minded, and assume that they'll look for me being sick. They'll tell me, "You don't look sick." I'm not sick. Like,
Right.
I'm not sick.
Right, you don't look sick.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, they're looking for me to have some sort of sign,
yeah.
and
Well,
I'm like,
because
"You've done
it's that image that we all have in our heads in the
exactly,
80s,
exactly,
right? Where
yes,
everybody
yes,
was, 50 pounds and
right." And I'm a right, and I mean,
lesions all over their face and
and part of the reason why I advocate so strong for getting treated, getting tested, getting treated, being aware, is because people choose not to because of the stigma, because or they don't want to know. I have people tell me, or I've had quite a few tell me they don't want to get tested because they don't want to know.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
well, if you know, then you can get treated, and it's basically, and I call it dead, but it's dormant. It is undetectable. It kills the virus to the point it can't be transmitted or
right.
detected, does not affect your immune system. The medicine, it's antiretroviral therapy is what it's called. And I'm on Biktarvy, but there's a whole slew of medicines that treat HIV.
Are there any type
And
of side effects from the medication that you take?
my Biktarvy, when I first started taking it, it made my neck stiff. Like, it just gave me a sore neck
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And honestly, it lasted for about probably a month or so. And
Yeah,
I believe that's as long as the virus was still detectable in my body.
gotcha.
Because once I became undetectable, I didn't,
It
it
all
has
went
had
away.
no side effects. The only other side effect that I feel, or I don't know if it's a side effect of that or if it's menopause, but I cannot stand the heat. Like,
That's
I can,
menopause. That's
if
menopause,
I,
girl.
if I get hot, it takes me days to recover from that. Like, it will wipe me out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, that kind of it could, you know, half a dozen, six one side and half a dozen the other. I don't know which one it is or if it's the combo, but I do know that intense Florida heat, I can't work my outreach and do stuff like that um in intense heat because it just takes me so much to cool off.
Mm-hmm.
Um but other than that, no. I sleep well. It definitely, one of my good friends told me, I mean, the things you hear when I was diagnosed, that they wanted to console me and comfort me. She's like, well, they call it Slim's disease because you'll be skinny. And I was like, that's not what I want to hear.
That's not making me feel any better.
That's not what I want to hear. And I lift weights, so being skinny is not my goal. But I was like, and now I'm like, well, that definitely never happened. Um, and
But you also, it never escalated in your right from
no,
HIV.
no,
You never
no,
were into full-blown AIDS.
never, never, never.
Yeah.
It never affected my actual immune system. My CD4 cells were never affected. So my viral load was there. I think whenever it was the first numbers were like 750,000 or something like that of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Next, it's under 20. To be undetectable, it has to be less than 20
Okay.
per unit that they test. So if a negative person, if an HIV negative person and I were to have our both get screened for HIV, we'd both show negative.
Right.
Um, because it's just not there. And as long as it's undetectable, it's not transmittable. And I will say that in the 7 years since diagnosis, um, people who are really the real people, what I call the real people. I mean, I've had some real relationships, some serious relationships, and they they wanted to be educated. And I would give time. I'd be like, look, you do your own research. You find out. I can
Right.
show you my numbers all day long. You go do the research so that you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable, I understand. And that's going to be something that there is no hard feelings, because how you feel is how you feel.
Yeah.
I can't, and I don't want you to feel uncomfortable in being with me or being seen with me or what have you. So, most people are pretty good. Younger generations are more open
Well, yeah, because they
because,
they grew up with it, right?
and they don't have the image of
The
what we
80s,
did.
the 80s
Yeah,
AIDS victim.
yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
80s. I remember when it first came out, and
Scary.
it was like it came in breathing.
Yeah.
It was more of a COVID transmission is the way
That's
it was put
right.
on.
That's right. And,
And
and and that they didn't even know what it was for such a long time. The gay
exactly.
cancer, you can
Yeah,
get it. Can you get it while you breathe? Can you get it when you kiss through
right.
your saliva? Everybody
Right.
was freaking out at that point.
Yes.
I had
So,
a doctor. He's a professor, Dr. Dallas Bragg. He's got a pretty big following on social media on TikTok, and he is now an advocate for crystal meth. For he was a crystal meth addict for many many years, homosexual,
mhm,
and through his lifestyle and bad decisions while on meth, contracted HIV. But it
mhm.
was through um, a very promiscuous encounter where the guy that gave him the HIV, I guess this is a thing in the gay community where it's called pausing. And while they're having sex with you, as soon as they give you HIV, they'll tell you, okay, congratulations, you've been infected. Yeah, like it's a thing. Like they get off on this, right?
Oh, wow.
So then, in speaking with him and him educating me with this entire process, he, like you, is undetectable, very healthy
Mhm,
man.
mhm.
Um, he explains that if you know that you've been infected and you go see a doctor within a period of like 24 hours, they can stop it. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
I have heard that. It's kind of like which, and also if you have prep, if you take prep,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
as a preventive, I mean, I know that especially in the LGBTQ community,
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, that's really
they
big.
know about prep. They are all about prep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've even told, my partners in the past that, look, if you feel more comfortable by getting on this, then go for it. If that makes you more comfortable. But and again, I believe that we can be cured. Our generation can be cured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe we will be. I believe it's going to be available because there's getting to be, the long acting injectables now to, rather than a daily pill. And I just
Right, because
don't,
they have them now where
yeah,
there's another
3 months,
advocate that I
three
follow. Right,
months,
three
12
and even
months.
six
Yeah,
months. Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah. They have it up to a year. My metabolism burns through
Well, because you work
meds.
out so much too, right? I would imagine.
And so I don't trust yet that an injectable that I get at day one is
Mm-hmm.
going to last with
Six
the
months or
same
whatever. Yeah.
consistency for till the last day. I don't trust that just yet. I'm my one pill a day, as long as it's
And if
good,
it's right, if that's not an
it's working,
inconvenience, you
it's
take
working.
supplements. It's the same shit. You take it every day,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I say. It's my life vitamin. I take it every morning. That's my life
Mm-hmm.
vitamin. Um, and and I will say that my OBGYN, when the day before I was diagnosed, he had been doing research, and he called me on a Sunday, and he told me that I needed to start taking liposomal vitamin C. And he said that that has been shown in research to kill the virus. Um, so
Okay.
at night, I take 2,000 whatever milligrams mcg, whatever it is. I've taken it so long, I just know I take two of them every night, and as part of my nighttime routine, I take that every day. And liposomal vitamin C is anything liposomal is already broken down, so you don't just pee it out.
Mm-hmm.
Your body actually absorbs all of it.
Right.
So my health is great. Like I tell people that for, not only my age and my diagnosis or anything, but my health is really on point. I get checked every 6 months for my HIV, and then because I'm menopausal and on hormone replacement therapy
Mhm.
as well, I get tested in between because I have to keep my levels up.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with HIV. That's just getting older.
Yeah.
Just keeping my system.
I just started. My doctor, my
Yeah.
OBGYN just started me on progesterone. And
Yes.
on anti
Progesterone. I love progesterone.
and on anti-anxiety medication as well because I was spazzing out from time to time.
Hmm.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "Girl, it's not you. It's your hormones that they're all over the
Yes.
place right now, you know?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I could give you something so that it helps you throughout the
Hmm.
next couple of years because this is going to be a process. Either you could
Yeah.
do it on your own or
Right.
I can help you. You choose."
And I did see. I have not taken any. No anxiety, no depression,
Well,
no
but you work out like
anything.
a maniac
I work
too, so
out.
that
That is
helps.
it. If
Yeah,
I
your
don't
body's
work
naturally
out,
producing it.
if I don't, I say that, lifting weights, I was looking at some pictures today. Actually, I just put them up on TikTok where I started working out consistently like 12 years ago, and then really got into plans and that kind of thing 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became a trainer, I think 4 years ago, finally. And I just did the training thing just because, like, I might as well have all these
You're there
certifications.
already and
So,
you like it.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
studied it anyway, so I might as well have them. But, I mean, I've been doing that all this time. And, it's all about just going with what your body needs. And that's what my doctor at the health department, Dr. Pinero, told me. He's like, probably one reason you were able to come back so quick and be
Right.
undetectable so quickly is not just because of the meds,
It's your
but
lifestyle.
because your health is in such good shape
Yeah.
that you it didn't hit you as hard as what it would others.
Yeah, that's great.
And because I was always so healthy, that's why I knew when I got sick, I was like, I thought I was dying. I mean, I felt so bad.
How many
And
days a week do you work out?
um 5 to 6.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I normally
That's a
I
lot.
normally take one day off because and some days it just depends. Like today was not as heavy of a day as other days because I'm tired. My body's tired. And so, I mean, I'm all about like when you have to listen to your body. You have to know your body. And when it's tired, when everything
Hmm.
hurts, it's time to rest. You have to rest. So anyway, but I do try very hard to that's why I do the TikTok to um I mean, and that's actually why I started TikTok, was to be able to tell my story.
It's so
And
important what you're doing. So important.
then it was, I went off because I am, I do love my astrology and all my witchy stuff, but I just decided to ease up on it, just to not push it down anybody's throat. But then I was like, you know what? It's time. It's just time. And TikTok does have the platform to reach the whole wide world.
Yes, yes.
And
And people, it's
I've
good.
actually connected with someone from South Africa who keeps asking me like different questions, and it's so interesting to see in different parts of the world how it's being treated or not treated. And I am thankful for being where I am. I mean, I know we have a lot of complaints and issues with our healthcare system,
Yeah.
but I am very thankful for medicine
Mm-hmm.
and the help that it's given me
Right.
because
In other parts of the world, they probably don't have the daily pill
they
that they
don't
can take, you know?
they don't they do not have the care that we have. And that makes me feel bad because it's a guilt because I'm like, I'm able
Yeah.
to thrive and keep going. I
Yeah.
mean, because life goes on. That's what people need to understand, is life goes on. It
So
is not
from
a,
the from the
stop.
moment that you got your diagnosis and your advocacy now where you're helping so many people, you're educating me through my platform, that's the idea also. Let's continue to spread this information. How has this affected you spiritually? Do you view life differently since you received that diagnosis? Does that give you a little shift in what reality and what really fucking matters in life is?
It totally changed me. Yes,
Yeah.
it totally. and I would say between what I went through with my husband, with actually even my first husband, with what I went through with him, with what I went through with Dave and the addiction and the diagnosis, and then my dad died,
Yeah.
all like right there together.
So
And
it's always that way, right? It's like a big
so
collapse.
yes, and so I was like tapping out when my daddy died. I was ready to tap out. I was like,
Yeah.
I am not this strong.
Yeah.
So,
But you are.
I mean, but it did it. There was a time, people say that, God won't give you more than what you can handle.
Yeah.
Yes, the hell, that's exactly what
I'm
happens.
tapping out, God. I'm
You,
tapping out.
you do not, you do
I'm
not
done.
find your faith. Yeah, you don't find your faith and who you are and truly find your soul and your spirit until there is nothing left in you physically or mentally to carry you. And
Hmm.
then you dig deep. And that is when I know that is within 6 months. It was purely dark night of the soul. My awakening, I was alone and I had to dig myself out of hell right by myself.
Yeah, I've been
And I
there.
would say that was when I was in the dark and I found there was no light out there. It was in here.
Everything comes from within.
It was in here. And then it all started clicking. And then I realized who I was and then I mean, and again, once you start waking up, you can't unsee
You can't stop.
what you see. And so now, I mean, I do not attach to religion. I attach to spirituality.
Yeah.
I tell people there's a big difference. Don't come at me with your religion
No, yeah.
because everybody can make up um, rules to
Yeah.
live by.
Yeah.
And I know what I always say, what aligns with me is what's right.
Yeah.
And I know when I'm not in alignment, I've got to check what that is and fix it.
Do you
And to be
think
happy.
do you feel that there's a part of you, no matter how difficult, getting this diagnosis was a necessity in order for you to awaken, and where you actually see it, where you're grateful even for having it, because now you've created this platform where you're helping thousands of people, sharing your story, and for them to understand that that everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be
All
fine.
that, all that. When I'll never forget standing at my bathroom counter after I was diagnosed, and I said, all right. I said, I know you didn't just let me get this because it was a bad decision.
Hmm.
I know I'm supposed to do something with this. I just don't know what. And that I knew. And it's still unfolding, but I do know I have been tested up until that point and even up till now to be able to be strong enough to carry it, to to have the voice to say it, um, and to speak up, to say, to push people, to encourage people, to be there for people and understand. I know how it feels when you get that diagnosis, but I promise you that's not where you're going to stay. It's just a diagnosis and
That's
it's
right.
just part of life. And if anything, what it taught me is to find your happiness, to live every single day and pursue live the life you really and truly want to have today. Don't look 6 months down the road. Don't look
Right.
20 years down the
Live
road
in
for
the present.
retirement.
That
Don't,
that's when they say stay in alignment in the present moment.
yes, yes. And, I always say, I knew hooking up with that boy was not a good idea. I knew it wasn't. I did it out of revenge. Um,
You
I did it
intuitive,
because
you knew that that was going to
I
be
did.
trouble long
I
term
knew,
somehow.
I knew. I was like, it's not right. I'm not doing it because I really want to be with him or want a relationship with him. I am doing it because I am numb. Or I'm hurt. I want to
You
be
you
numb.
sometimes we just need a little bit of attention to get us out of that
Yes,
funk.
yes. And then, so then I did say, like, after that, when I tell people, because now it's such a hookup thing, casual sex is such
It's
an
horrible.
okay thing to so many people. I'm like, I don't do that. Like, I cannot do
Mm-mm.
that. I am, um, I just can't. Like, I don't want your energy mixing with mine. If I don't connect with you, I don't want you near me. I don't want you even touching me.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a
A
connection,
connection. A connection.
not just getting off with another person. You
Right.
know, I mean, that's what I just can't do that and won't do that. And I think that we get signs along the way that sometimes we just, all the red flags, we just
We ignore them.
wave at them as we go by. And now I pay more attention when I don't feel like
Yeah.
something's right.
You listen to that little voice, right?
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, there's something very wrong here. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And the other side, like, I will be like, this is what I need to do. Just like whatever it was, a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm fixing to tell my story. It may not be the only thing I talk about on TikTok, but I will not put it on the very back corner and act like it's not there. I'm going to make sure it's up front and present in most of what I do.
Yeah.
And because if it's one person that it comes across their
That's
page
what
is
I always
one
say.
person, then it's been worth that one person, because I've caught some crap from people in the last couple of weeks since I put my post up about why would you do this? Why would you, and calling me nasty and calling me names. I'm like,
Yeah, you got to be
you
very
know,
thick skinned for this too,
you
because
do,
yeah, you
you
got a
do,
lot of haters
because
out
they will
there.
come at you like, I mean, I'm like, look, I didn't do anything to you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know where this is coming from. You should check that though. But, I mean, again, it's just people are going to show they're ugly, but that's their ugly. And it's the couple of people who have come into my inbox and said, I've recently been diagnosed, or I was diagnosed so and so years ago. Some people have told me horrific stories. Like, I do not call myself a victim. I will never call myself a victim. I am just a warrior at this point because I was a participant, not a victim.
That's right.
Um, but I have been approached by someone who was raped,
That's different.
and
Right. That's a little
I was like,
different. At that point,
that's
that's not,
that's
yeah,
a whole different level.
that's
Like,
a
I
whole,
am
right.
so sorry. Like, that
Yeah.
just hurts my heart because that's
She didn't
trauma
choose
on
it.
top of
She
trauma.
didn't put herself in that business,
Right.
right?
That's a lot of different traumas there. So again, it's one of those that if people will just be kind, just kind, just understand that everybody's fighting a battle,
Everybody's
and
going through something.
everybody's dealing with something. And the thing is, if you hide it and you get through it, nobody can benefit from knowing what strength it took to get through that.
That's right.
And that's another thing. Like, again, I have lots of stories, but there are people who have other stories that would benefit so much from if they'll just find their voice and reach one person, reach somebody
Well,
instead of
I,
being
I,
scared to talk.
I'll tell you, I through following your content, I went to the gynecologist for my hormones
Hmm.
because I'm
Hmm.
getting that looked at because I'm always tired. And I was like, you know
Yes.
what? Like, let me get an HIV test. I haven't done one of these in years.
Hmm.
There was a moment there that I was like, how long do these results take to get
I
back? Because
know.
you start thinking like, well, you never know,
Oh, I
right?
know. I know.
It could
And
take
well,
that one person that,
exactly.
yeah,
And the thing is, we assume that everybody's always had again, we assume a lot, and that's judgment. And that's what I tell people. The one thing that really did, I always say, I only judge one group of people in this world anymore, and that's the ones who hoarded toilet paper in 2020. I really I have such judgment with that because it never made sense, and they
girl,
took my
we
toilet
got
paper.
we got water and soap. That's all you need.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I learned, don't judge, because I was definitely a judgmental person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Before I
innately
got
in
a
all of
diagnosis.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't want to be. I didn't know I was until I realized what it felt like. So when I look at people, when people start doing certain things, or people don't make choices that I think they should make or that I would make, I go, you know what? I don't know what's going on with them.
yeah.
That's not my place. It's not my place to make their call.
No,
Um,
no, it's
because we
you
don't
could
know until we're there.
you can only one thing that I do want to ask you, and again, you share whatever you are comfortable with sharing. But through another advocate who's pretty big on social media, and she's been diagnosed for years. She's very vocal about women that get infected with a man is because the man is having promiscuous homosexual sex with another man. It's very, very difficult for a man to get it from a woman, but a woman can get it from a man. And her boyfriend, the one that she got it from, was a former meth user that whenever he would get high, he liked to dress and drag and have sex with other men. And that's how she was infected with HIV.
So I've heard stories about the one
Mm-hmm.
that, and I won't say because I don't know,
Right, right, right. But
but
there,
I've heard,
but there's been
but I
right.
will say I've heard stories that
Yeah,
correlate with what you just said.
that could be
Not
it.
necessarily the addiction part, but just the bisexuality. and
Right, right.
and I know, like I say, I have done enough research to know it is damn near impossible for a man to contract HIV from a woman.
That's HIV positive.
Yes,
Right, right. That's
yes.
exactly what she talks
Because
about.
the process is it has to go back up into the urethra.
I mean, but what about if like the girl is on her menstrual cycle or something like that? Could it be, could they contract it that way?
Again, that's possible, but it has to go in. Now, unless they have a deep cut or something like
A
that, and
wound and then now it's skin to skin. Right.
then okay, but
Yeah,
not just
that's
so
it.
yeah, there
Yeah.
has to be something. So again, that's his business. And I don't, again, the fact is I wasn't asking about who he'd been with.
Right, right.
It was that if he knew he had it. So
Yeah,
that's
especially
what I
with that
care about.
reaction that he had. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I will
won't
not
be
be mad. And
mad.
then he started telling me about the process to expect it. I mean, like he told me the process
Oh, he knew. That
because
fucker
and
knew.
he used yeah, and he used his he was going back to school for healthcare, like a healthcare tech or something like that. So he was telling me the process based on a class. It was not
Mm.
based on a
It
class.
was based
His
on
ass
his
was based
experience.
on what his own personal experience at
That's a,
the
but
studying health department.
that's a real shitty thing though, right? Like if
It
you
is.
know, like what are you doing? Okay, I'm not saying don't have sex. Have sex
I
with her.
know.
Wear a condom.
Yes. I mean, at least wear a condom. At
Right.
least. But
Exactly.
again, and people have asked why I didn't press charges. I've worked the judicial system and
Because you
worked in
could, right? Like at that point you
yeah.
could take legal
Oh, it's a
action if you
felony.
wanted to.
It is a
Yeah.
it is a felony. And if there's more than one person that's infected, it goes to a first degree felony.
No shit. Okay.
It
I didn't know
does.
that.
Yes. Yes. If there are more than one, it's a first degree felony.
So you chose not
Um,
to take any
I did
type of
not.
legal
No,
action.
no, not at all.
Have
Because
you ever
I knew I was going to be held responsible too. So,
have you ever bumped into him again?
oh yes, oh yeah,
No.
oh yeah. In
How
Walmart,
awkward was that?
Walmart's a beautiful place. The first time I've seen him that I know of face to face 3 times. One time, it literally, it took my breath. I was not expecting the reaction when I
Mm-hmm.
saw him. The second time, I looked through him. He texted me that time. This was about almost a year after infection. And he texted me, and in that text, he actually admitted.
Oh, he did.
And so I have it in writing where he admitted.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I told him, I was like, I don't have anything to say to you.
Yeah, at this
Like,
point, it's
I just,
like, yeah,
like,
this
no, I
conversation
have
is way
nothing.
overdue.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Like, I don't have anything to say to you. And then I saw him actually within the last month or so. First time I've seen him in years. And again, I just, I looked at him and it's seeing somebody who took the life that I had. But then at the same time I go, you know what? But I am better off. But I do cringe about the thought of not having medicine every day, because healthcare is a real thing.
where that could
And
take your
I'm
life.
never
Yeah.
worried about that until him, because
Yeah, because now you need it.
okay,
Now you need it.
well, I need it. I need it. So,
Do you
so
feel
yeah,
any type of hate for him?
hate for him, no. Um, I wonder. I wonder why he didn't tell me. I wonder why he wasn't on his meds. That's really what I wonder. Um, but hatred, no, because I do take responsibility for me.
Good, good.
And then, but hate for him, that's wasted. I mean, I always say, because I am a, you know, firm believer in the universe and karma,
Yeah.
and karma is good or bad. It's whatever you put out. And I know he's got to deal with whatever he's done. I have to deal with, and people go, I've had somebody go, well, maybe this is your karma. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Um, it it changed me for the better though.
Mm-hmm.
It changed my perspective on life. It made me who I am now. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but I feel like I see people where before I didn't see people.
Maybe you're more
Um,
empathetic now. You see
oh, no doubt.
people. Yeah.
I understand a lot more in why humans do what we do.
Yeah. The
Um,
judgment, the hate. Yeah.
because we try to judge from our perspective.
From what we're feeling. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
rather than you don't know what they're in, what shoes. You can't say, like people say, "Oh, I would have done this and I would do this and I would." You don't know what you'd do. You do not know what you'd
you
do.
don't until until you are
So,
in that situation yourself at
yes,
that moment. That is the only
yep.
way that you're going to see what you really
In
react.
any circumstances, you do not know what you will do until you're there,
Yeah.
and then you do the best you can.
Yeah.
That's what I know. So,
So
yeah.
so Deanna, to end, you know, your story. What an
Mhm.
incredible story, your advocacy. For anybody that's listening right now, that's truly afraid, because it's still scary. It really is. It's got to be
Yeah.
scary. Like you
Yes.
said, what if I don't have my medication one day? At this
Yeah.
point, your life is going to significantly, drastically change for the worse
Yes.
because you need
Yes.
that medication. So for anybody that's living with a newly diagnosed HIV status, and
Hmm.
they're afraid of the stigma, which is
Yeah.
going to come whether you want it or not. It's going to happen. That's
Yeah.
just the world that we live in today. What advice do you have for them that helped you to just better understand that this is just part of the process of being HIV, and what can I take this negative situation that I've been given? How do I make this a positive, and how do I help the mass collective? How do I help everybody here? Because this is my new mission right now.
Yeah. And just that. First you have to be okay with you. And I will say that I'm very big on gratitude. And if you wake up in the morning and you're healthy, you're physically healthy, all your parts work right, you're good, and you have your medicine, you thank God for that day. You think whatever you think,
Yep.
whether you just be thankful that you have that and you have your health that day. And you know that that health is a gift to you that a lot of people don't have. So be thankful for it. Um, let go of the past. Let go of how you got it, what you're going to do. Like, again, you're in this moment. You can't worry about what's going to happen a week down the road, 10 years down the road. You're right now. You
Hmm.
can't look back and go, I need to go back. I wish I could go back and do this. You can't. That's, regret is wasted. Hindsight, you can look back and go, yeah, probably should have done this a little different, but I
Right.
didn't, and this is where I'm at now. So this is where I'm going to go from this point forward. And again, if you're, there are support groups, there are people out there. Normally, all the case managers that are working in public health with HIV probably have HIV. I'm not going to say for sure that's a case,
It makes
but
sense, right? They have a better
they
they
can,
have a better
right, they
understanding
can
and
identify.
empathetic. Right.
Yes. And if not, there's support groups, there's people. Again, look on TikTok, look on a social platform, find
Yeah.
somebody that's talking about it. Go to them. Go find who they talk to, how they deal with it.
Yeah.
But again, you have to focus on your health. Yes, I am all about health, but I was about health before I had HIV.
Right.
Because I always say we have one meat suit. We have to take care of
Yeah.
it so that it lasts us for as long as possible. And again, I was asked, what is my life expectancy with HIV? Well, hell, I'm gonna live to be 100. I'm still gonna be in the gym at 99.999.
Right. That's right.
Because that's what I enjoy doing. I'm gonna keep living until I can't.
Hmm.
Period. And I think a lot of people give up on life long before their
Oh yeah.
expiration date.
Absolutely.
So I don't know.
without an HIV diagnosis, right? They just give up on
Yes,
life and their
just give
dreams.
up,
And, like you
exist.
say, if you're here till 99.9, keep living till you're 99.9,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. But yeah, just I mean, it's not easy, and I won't even say, it's not a linear. You're not just going to be all of a sudden you're all fine and good. There are days that I sit at like the weight of it'll hit me a little bit different,
Yeah,
and you just go, damn, this really is like what it is. And but at the same time, you go, it's not other things. There are other people have asked me what are worse things to that can happen. A lot. I mean, I am
yeah,
healthy. My kids are healthy.
right,
I
right.
have a good job. I have a great life for the most part. I can't complain. There are people who are truly ill. They're sick because their body has different ailments, and or they've lost kids. They've lost they
Yeah,
I'm like, be thankful for where you are in life, because you know what? Somebody else's set of problems is probably a whole lot harder to
that's
handle.
right. That's
and
right.
and just be aware of that and mindful and thankful. And if you can do that, it'll help bring you out of whatever hole or rut you're in.
Hmm.
And but again, there's always people to talk to, please. And I am in the mental health business as well, so reach out. There are mental health counselors everywhere to and it's not a one size fits all, so find the one that works for you.
So
And
how can people get a hold of you?
okay, so I am on TikTok on Divine Mosaic 1313. I am not in Facebook at this time. I am in sorry, Instagram as Deanna Marie 719. There's an underscore in there somewhere. You can tell how much I look at it. But it's Deanna Marie 719. But my TikTok is really probably the easiest thing to go to if you've got TikTok. Um, my email, you can email me, my dmshepard719 at gmail.
Okay.
Um, if you need to reach out, then that's my go-to email.
Okay, perfect. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I have not been in it in a long time. But I do have a Divine Mosaic
YouTube?
YouTube channel.
All right.
I do.
So what I'd like
I
to
do.
do is once I post this episode on YouTube, in
Hmm.
the comment section, I'll put all your links so that it's easier for people
Oh,
to find you
great.
and
Yes, great.
contact you. But yeah, this has been great. Thank you for speaking with me and sharing your story. It's very courageous. You're a beautiful, healthy woman, and no, listen, that goes a long way, right? Because it's like, hey,
Well,
this
I am healthy. I'm just looking at my image right now, and I'm like, yes, I am definitely. This is straight gym rat.
you look great. Are you
Look
kidding
right
me?
here. So, well,
S-
thank you so much. But I
But
do appreciate you having me so much.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. And I hope that if anybody's listening, that they do reach out to you because, sometimes it's like, like you said, maybe if it's one person that you
Yes,
helped, you know,
yes,
and
exactly.
I'll take it. I'll take that much.
Yes,
All right, honey.
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Deanna, for speaking with me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
honey.
Bye bye.
Bye.